Hi, I'm Sam, I'm from the Young Voter Project, and this is a video about the Liberal Democrat manifesto. Now this one has quite a few specific policy ideas, not perhaps as many as Labour, but it's more balanced out with what you might call big ideas as well. It's also very harshly critical of both the Conservatives and the Labour Party, much more so than those manifestos were. They weren't as critical of other parties, but the Lib Dems really are quite harsh on both of the two biggest parties. One thing that comes back a lot is that they see themselves as the best party of opposition. That's one of the things that they criticise Labour for. They say that they have not provided a good opposition to the Conservative Party recently, and so if you think that needs to change, they think you should vote for the Lib Dems instead. Another thing that comes back very strongly through the whole manifesto is they talk a lot about Brexit. They are the biggest party that want to hold a second referendum about Brexit. So once the negotiations have finished, they want to go back to the people of the United Kingdom again and give them a choice over whether they think we should leave the EU on the terms that have been agreed. Again, there's a big promise about building new houses. They want to build 300,000 new homes every year by 2022. Will any of the parties be able to put that into action? Let's hope so. If you're renting a property, then there's a promise for you. They want to introduce a help to rent scheme. So if you're trying to rent your first property but you're finding it difficult to put together a deposit, then they will help with that. They also want to set a limit on the fees that you would have to pay up front. For workers, they want to raise the national living wage. They don't say what level they're going to set, but they're going to have a consultation to work out the best way of doing that. They're going to bring in what they're calling a good employer kite mark, and so that's a way of identifying the businesses and employers which are good places to work. They also say they want to avoid unpaid internships and stamp out abuse of 0 hours contracts. So they don't go as far as saying they're going to ban those things like the Labour Party did, but they do think that they need to make some improvements there. They want to double the number of businesses which hire apprentices, and for university funding they say there's going to be a reintroduction of the maintenance grant, so that's to help you with your living costs, and that will be for the poorest students. They don't say how they define that, but there will also be a review into higher education funding in general. A few more things. They want to lower the voting age to 16. They're also going to bring in a bus pass which gives you 2/3 off bus travel if you're aged 16 to 21. And although this isn't really just for young voters, it might be interesting to know that they want to legalise the cannabis market and also put an end to prison sentences for personal drug use. So why might you want to vote for the Liberal Democrats? Well, perhaps you think that the Conservative manifesto doesn't go far enough, but you maybe feel that the Labour manifesto is going to be too expensive. This could be a compromise, a middle way, and that's something that they've often done in the past, seen themselves as a compromise between those two bigger parties. Also, if staying in the EU is the single biggest issue for you, if you voted to remain and you want to have a second referendum, then they're the biggest party who are offering that. So if either of those two things appeals to you, then maybe you should vote for the Liberal Democrats.